Through the first month of the fantasy season last year, Rome Odunze was the wide receiver 3 overall, averaging 17 fantasy points per game. But a lot of people are turned off of Rome Odunze just kind of due to the lack of production the end of last season, plus the whole statement this offseason about the new normal with his foot injury. However, head coach Ben Johnson doesn't seem too concerned. So should we really be that concerned? Because they traded away DJ Moore to Buffalo. He had 85 targets in this offense last year. Slot wide receiver Olamide Zaccheaus, he's gone. He went to Atlanta. That frees up another 65 targets. But despite those departures and the injury that we already know from Rome Odunze from last year, they didn't add anyone hardly in Chicago that's going to command any targets to start the season. I have to think that if they were super worried about Rome Odunze after losing 2 pieces of their passing offense last year, they would have brought in more guys this offseason. Look at what New York did with the concerns around Malik Neighbors. They brought in guys like Juju and Odell Beckham, and they're trying to find other options just in case. We didn't get that in Chicago. But I don't want to completely ignore the injury concern because a lot of people have that. But what if? What if he actually is okay? Because his potential in the Chicago offense is huge. Don't forget that the Chicago offense was a top 12 passing team just last year. Through the first month of the fantasy season last year, Rome Odunze was the wide receiver 3 overall, averaging 17 fantasy points per game. But what does Rome Odunze do really well? Big plays, deep balls, red zone threat. He doesn't need 140 plus targets to have a chance at a big season. The fact that Rome Odunze had 90 targets last year, but only 44 receptions is absolutely crazy. I had to double check that number because it's nuts. If it can go to 65% last year and he gets a slight target bump due to the departures, we could be seeing Rome Odunze go out there, get 115 plus targets, and with that catch rate, be right around 80 receptions. Now, based off of his career averages, average yards per reception, that's going to put him right around 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns. That alone puts him in top 15 position of the wide receiver category, and he well outproduces his draft day price. But what if he gets a larger target bump? What if the foot really is okay? What if that catchable target rate creeps up to where other wide receivers are around that 70% mark? All of a sudden, we have a guy with a massive ceiling that is probably your team's wide receiver 3, maybe even wide receiver 4, depending how heavily you draft wide receiver. You're drafting his floor as of right now because the potential upside could be league winner.